So this is the 4-question quiz that we did on multi-step equations. So most people did really well on this, but just for those few that didn't, we're going to review some of the answers for this. So remember what we're trying to do is we're trying to collect all of our variables on one side, ideally the left, and then any other terms we're going to try and bring to the other side, and then we should just have a one-step equation to solve. So remember I've got to do opposites for all this stuff. So if I'm moving variables across, this is a positive n here, so I need to subtract n from both sides. So I'm doing the inverse here. Now when we do n take away n, this cancels out. Remember n also is the same as 1n, so 3n take away 1n is 2n. I've still got this add 11 here, and this equals positive 1, so we can just put 1 at this stage. Now to bring our terms to the other side, our constant terms, we also need to do the inverse. So instead of adding 11, I'm going to subtract 11, because 11 take away 11 is 0, so that's going to cancel out. And then what I have left is 1 take away 11, which is negative 10. And to find out what n is, we're just going to divide both sides by 2, and negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. We can go ahead and check our answers for these questions as well. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, plus 11 is negative 4, and on this side, negative 5 plus 1 is also negative 4. So as I ended up with the same answer, then I know that this must be a correct solution to that problem. Same idea with number 2. I want to collect all my variables on the left-hand side if possible. So I'm just going to do the inverse here, because negative 2n plus 2n gives me 0. So on this side, 5n plus 2n is 7n. And then now I've got all my variables on one side, I want to bring everything else to the other side. So I'm going to do the inverse here as well. 2 take away 2 is going to cancel, that's why I do it. 16 take away 2 is 14. And then on the last step, we're just going to divide both sides by 7. And 14 divided by 7 is 2. Now, our third and fourth questions in this quiz. A couple of extra problems with this one, because I have parentheses here. So I know that I can distribute this. So 3 times n is 3n. 3 times 4 is 12. And then now it looks like all the other questions. So we can actually see here that we've got 3n and n, just like we actually had in the first question. So I'm going to subtract n from both sides, because that will cancel on the right-hand side, and 3n take away n is 2n. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides, so that'll cancel, and I'll get 2n equals 10, and then divide by 2, and I end up with 5. So almost an identical question to question 1, except our answer was positive 5, whereas our other answer was negative 5. Now on question 4, I have the bigger number of x's on the right-hand side, which I personally don't like, so I'm going to switch this over using the symmetric property. And then now I'm going to bring all my n's to the left-hand side. So I subtract 3n from both sides. That's going to cancel on the right-hand side, giving me 0n. 7n take away 3n is 4n. Positive 6 is just 6, so I can leave that like that. Subtract 8 from both sides, because 8 take away 8 is 0. 6 take away 8 is negative 2. And then when we divide both sides by 4, we just get left with this fraction, so n equals negative 2 over 4. But notice both of these numbers are in the 2 times table, so 2's into 2 goes once, and 2's into 4 goes 2. And on those last 3 questions, we should probably also substitute back if we have time to check, just to make sure that we do have a correct answer.